Hello everyone and welcome back. In the last episode we spoke about starting up as being a paranormal investigator, joining the team, creating your own team, safety, and now I want to get over the equipment side. I think you're going to enjoy this bit. Now, as we know, on the TV shows they use a lot of equipment, a lot of different equipment. This has become so popular now that unfortunately it has become rather expensive. Now there is cheap alternatives, so I'm going to go through them with you now. I'm going to go through what would be the best and worst in my opinion. You may think different, but this is just my opinion on the equipment. I'll go over the pros and the cons, and of course checking it ready for an investigation. So let's get started. One of the top pieces of equipment that you are going to need is a night vision camcorder. Now this one still takes Height 8 film, not a memory card. Now the night shot on this is absolutely fantastic. It really is brilliant. The downside, it's now getting harder and harder to actually find the cassettes, the tapes, to get like the footage for this. So unfortunately, even though it is fantastic, sadly it is getting out of date. The one I'm filming on now, that has a light on the front of it, which is brilliant as a torch as well. And the problem with that though is it's not really night vision, it's a night light. So when you get a camcorder, I think this one cost me about, what's it, about £35. So it is cheap. Shop around, you'll find plenty of deals out there, and yeah, make sure it's got night vision or night shot and 0 lux. That is your first important piece of equipment. The second most important piece of your equipment, digital voice recorders. Now, these are not really that expensive, depending on what you want them for. I know the ones they use on TV, I've looked them up, and they are in the hundreds of pounds. This one, I think I got it for about £20, if that. So there is cheaper alternatives out there. So don't automatically buy the equipment just because you've seen it on TV. It will cost you more. Next vital piece of equipment, a torch. Now this is a wind-up torch, so it does not require batteries. But the thing is, it does make an awful noise. I'm not going to do it for you, because trust me, it is awful. Sounds a bit like an air raid siren, a personal one. But you definitely need this if you're going to do night investigations. Don't ever leave without a torch. Next piece, which might come in useful, a motion sensor. Now with these, what you can do is set it up in a room, lock the room off so that you know no one is in there. Leave a camera set up filming, and you never know. If it lights up and no one's walked past, that might help you come to another conclusion. However, try to reenact it. See if you can make it go off again in the same way. That way it will help with conclusions. But that's the motion sensor. What I've got here for you now, a full spectrum digital camera. Now I've been lucky with this one, I must admit. I've been very lucky. I think it only cost me about £40, which to me is cheap. And I got an amazing photograph, which is on the Essex Ghost Investigations Facebook page. And it was in the Tower of London. Now you can see lights on top of one of the towers. It was caught on this camera. All I'd done was a random snap. Just went around just taking snaps. And I managed to get a fantastic photograph on this camera. So if you can get full spectrum, also get a video camera with full spectrum. Honestly, they are worth it. Fantastic piece of equipment. Downside with this, you've got to get the right batteries. If you don't get the right batteries, 1 or 2 shots, it's no good anymore. That's just me doing up. That's just me doing up the case. Right, speaking of which, there is my full spectrum camera. I have the light to go with it. So that just screws onto the bottom. And it adds to the full spectrum. So, another great piece. And this takes memory card, like the one I'm filming on now. That also takes memory card. So, good little bit of equipment. Unfortunately, at the moment, with this one, for some reason, when I used it at Temple Crescent Barn, when I went to Paranormal a few years ago, it decided to stop working on me. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I am looking around for another one, but this is a full spectrum camera. Now, what else we've got? A laser thermometer. Now these are great for temperature checking. So if you do go to a place and you do a preliminary search around the building, one of the things you can do is quite simply take some temperature readings, and then when you do natural investigation, take them again. Now with these, they're very accurate, but remember, if you are doing a night investigation, night times are cooler. So if you get, I'd say 1 to 3 or 4 degree drop, do not automatically assume that you have a spirit there, because that's just a natural phenomena. What I have now as well seems to be everyone's favourite, but I'm a little bit sceptical on, the SP7 Spirit Box. Now, I'm a bit hit and miss with this. I know loads of people love them. I'm still a bit unsure about these. They are good, I must admit. There was one in particular. Last Halloween, I went to Barking Abbey ruins and got a good reply from this. If you do want to hear it, there's a video on YouTube. It's 1 hour and 25 minutes into the video, in case you don't want to watch it all. And it come through this. And I recorded it on my digital voice recorder. So if you want to listen, please do, and if you want to get in touch with me and tell me what you think it said, please do. Now, another popular piece of equipment, which I'm a little bit sceptical on at the moment, K2 meters. or EMF detectors, electromagnetic field. Don't get me wrong, I've had some mixed results with this. There was one time I went to Dagenham Park, and while we was on the path, this was on green. As soon as I moved off the path to the left, it went up to red. Moved back onto the path, green again. Now, as far as I know, that was electrical lines underneath that bit of green. So you've got to be careful when using this to make sure everything electrical is turned off. That includes phones, that includes any kind of device like cameras, for example, with batteries. They can also give off EMFs. So they're a bit sensitive, should we say. So be very careful when using these and with the results that you think you're getting. Always double check with these. A couple of other pieces of equipment that I've acquired that I've got to admit I really like. First off, a thermal imaging camera. Now I know it's nothing like the ones you see on the TV shows. They're a lot bigger. They're FLIR cameras, which is a great name. But this does pretty much the exact same job. And this one, memory serves me correct, was only £120. Compared to what they use, this is really cheap. So like I say, there are cheaper alternatives. I'll tell you how at the end of this, but these are cheaper alternatives. Please do not go spending thousands of pounds or dollars just because you want the equipment that you see on these shows. Most of it, I've found out, doesn't really do much to enhance an investigation. Now, this here, I'll just put that on quickly. There we go, a parabolic dish. Now this is great for audio. Fantastic for audio. I've had some great results with this and the thermal imaging camera. I'd say these are two of my best pieces of equipment. This was only £40. That's it, £40. And I don't think I've ever seen any paranormal program actually use one of these, which to be honest is silly. I don't know why. Perhaps they will do now. Perhaps they might see this and think, as it goes, yeah, let's use one of them. So, one of the cons of this is the headphones, because obviously while you've got the headphones on, you may not hear what's going on around you. But they are good pieces of equipment. Now, going back to the voice recorder, this one is really sensitive. Now, what you can also do with this as well, and this will help with research that you can do before or after the investigation. I prefer after. Being a psychic medium, I like to pick up on things without any kind of suggestive thoughts. So I do my investigations, my research, afterwards. Because then it either confirms what I feel, what I heard, what I saw, or it tells me that I got it wrong. And if I got it wrong, I got it wrong. I'll admit it. What these are also good for, like I say, with research, when you interview someone, So say you go into someone's house, ask them if it's okay, get their permission to record the conversation. Always ask their permission first. Never just assume it's okay to go in, set up all the equipment, leave it running, whatever. Always ask the person first. So if it's their house, they may not want things recorded. I've had it in the past where they did not want it recorded, so respect that. But if they're okay, start recording the conversation, because there may be a time when you do your research that something you've heard on here, either through the person or the spirit, will come up. And there's nothing worse than thinking to yourself, I knew I heard that somewhere. Where was it? Because then it's lost. So if you can record the conversation when you're interviewing the person, please do. It will help. Now, pros and cons. Like I say, I think this and this have two of the biggest cons. This is a radio. That's all it is, a radio. It scans through frequencies really fast. They say it does not settle on any station, which it doesn't, but it can still pick up words from radio stations. Now, being as though you're using this and asking questions, you may hear words that you want to hear in response to your questions. And it may not be a spirit at all. It may be the radio station. Now, one of the tricks I've learned with this is, if you do hear something, if you can, have a look at the frequency where the noise comes from. If it comes around again on that same frequency, or even near that frequency, then there's a good chance it could be the radio and not a spirit. So when you use these, be very careful what you would class as a spirit compared to the radio. Like I say, with this, the trouble is electrical interference. Also, the Earth has its own electromagnetic field, which sometimes spikes. So it may give off a reading on this. So please be careful when it comes to this, how you judge the results. Try and recreate it. Maybe it's just a natural cause. If it's not a natural cause, then at least you could put it down to something else. But always rule out the natural, rule out the normal, before you class it as supernatural or paranormal. As for the other pieces of equipment, there's not really that much in the way of cons. Basically, all you need is, to start off with, is your night vision camera, your digital voice recorder, and a torch. That's basically your setup right here. Anything else you need, that's up. You'll develop that as you get more experience. Also, I have a set of dowsing rods. Now, the trouble with dowsing rods is they are too easily manipulated. So they will take a lot of practice. I've tried them. All you need is a very slight hand movement to the point where you may not notice it with the naked eye, and the rods will just go haywire. So with dowsing rods, I think you need a lot of practice with them in order to get them how you want. So I know people use them, crossing over for yes, moving apart for no, but they're a little bit, like I say, for me I think it's more hit and miss. So most of the equipment I've found out is pretty useless nowadays. And what I mean by that is, like I said just now, too many cons. Too many ways results can be influenced by natural means. So as you get experience, decide what you think will be best for you, and then build up your collection that way. I know there's a thing at the moment with SLS cameras. All it is basically is an Xbox gaming system camera, a tablet, and a bit of software. However, those results can once again be misjudged. So be very careful what you class as paranormal. Now, best way to get the equipment, like you've seen now, if you go on places like eBay, do not look at ghost hunting equipment. Maybe look at it to see what is on offer. So you can look on there and you think, right, I need a night vision camera, I need a digital voice recorder, I need motion sensor, I need this, I need that. Then type that in individually. So type in night vision camera, type in digital voice recorder. This one here, prime example. It's only a small one, £6. Now you look digital voice recorders on ghost hunting equipment, something like this may cost £20 or £30 because it's in a category. So don't do that. Try and type it in individually. Another example, this motion sensor. I found it in the shop, £5. I checked on eBay under ghost hunting equipment, £15 plus postage. So I think it worked out close to £20, and I paid £5. So shop around. Do not go to the first place, think, right, that's it, that'll do, buy. Shop around. You will find it cheaper. Honestly. Like I say, I know it's a lot to take in. Trust me, I've been there. But once you get it the way you want it, once you get it to a point where you are comfortable with the equipment you have, it shall become a lot easier. Learn your equipment. Don't just learn the basics, I mean actually learn it. Now, when it comes to preparing your equipment for an investigation, we usually start weeks beforehand. The best thing to do with cameras, like these for example, try and find extra batteries. Last thing you want is to go to a place, you're getting all this fantastic activity going on, and then that goes. It is the worst thing. Honestly, it is the worst. So try and get another couple of batteries. Also as well, check the tape if you're using a high 8 camera. Make sure there's nothing on there that you actually want to keep, or put it to one side, use a fresh one. Also as well, clean the heads. Now the way to do this, it used to be, well, I'm going to show my age here, it used to be a cotton bud with a little dab of vinegar on it. Cotton buds are okay, but the trouble is sometimes the cotton would come off and go on the wheels, which would cause it to chew up the tape. And the last thing you want is to get fantastic evidence and it's destroyed your tape. Trust me, I've had it happen. Thankfully the tape, I managed to rescue it. So thank you to the old ways, when we used to use a pencil in a cassette. Still works today, I'm glad to say. But yeah, clean the heads. So perhaps use a bit of kitchen roll nowadays. Put a small amount. You don't want it drenched, you just want a small amount on the kitchen roll and then just wipe it over the wheel, just to keep it clean. Now, with the voice recorders, make sure you take everything off these so you don't lose it. This one USB, so I can take it, put it onto my laptop. I've got all the thing now. So this is a great one to use. When you do decide to transfer it over, perhaps if you don't need it anymore, or you think, oh, that's okay, it's safe now, just wipe it off and you've got a full voice recorder ready to go again. So there you go folks, there's a few tips for you. But remember, please do not go on ghost hunting equipment. It will cost you more. Just type in ghost hunting equipment, look it up, perhaps open another tab, type in individually what you need, then compare the prices. Honestly, you will notice a big difference. Right, what I'm going to do next is on Halloween night, I'm going to be coming live on Facebook. My page is David Cook. You'll see my picture. I've got a golden crown on my head with a beard. Long story. And I'm going to be live from Barking Abbey ruins again. As I mentioned before, earlier on, I managed to get that EVP with the spirit box. Don't ask me how, but I managed to get it. So I'm hoping that this time I will get just as good, if not better. But what I want to do is I want to get yous involved. Yous watching now, I want yous involved in the investigation. So this is going to be your investigation, not mine. So what I would like is for yous to interact with me. So I want yous to tell me. I shall draw up a little map of the Abbey. I shall section it off. And I want yous to tell me what section to go to. And I want yous to tell me what equipment to use. Because depending on the place you go, depending on how big it is, with experience, you will realise you will not need all the equipment. So once you get a bit of experience behind you, once you get a layout of a place, then you will learn what equipment will be the most useful. I'm surprised I got what I did with the voice recorder on Halloween last year, because the ruins is open. It's open space. So I was outside, and using equipment like a voice recorder outside can sometimes be not so great, shall we say. So I was lucky that I got what I did with that voice recorder. But like I say, with experience, with a bit of knowledge, you'll figure out what you need, when you need it, and it will save you carrying everything around, and you will just take what you need. Right folks, hope you enjoyed this. I know I did. And remember, on Halloween, I'm coming from Barking Abbey Ruins live on Facebook. Please tune in and be a part of that, because this is your investigation this time, not mine. And like I say, I will draw up a grid on the Abbey, so you can tell me what part to go to and what equipment to use. And let's have a great investigation on Halloween. You never know, folks. We might get something just as good. We might get something better. If we do, I'll give you the credit on the next video. And the next video, after the investigation, I will show you how we go through all the evidence. Now, I will warn you, this is probably the most tiring part, going through all the evidence. Sometimes it can take hours just to go over minutes of video. So I will show you what I mean on the next video when we go through all the cameras, all the audio, and we'll get people's experiences as to what they felt on the night as well. So, thank you for tuning in, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you all. Don't forget, you can catch me on the Ghostly Hour every Sunday, 2 PM Pacific, 5 PM Eastern, 10 PM UK on kcorradio.com. But for now, everyone, remember, it helps to know, and I will see you on the other side. Safe hunting, everybody. Have a great time, and goodbye for now.